7.5%, almost 8% of a decline. Let's just pull up the intraday chart over there. That's today's performance. And let's also pull up maybe a 6-month or a 1 year. Now, this is one stock that anyway didn't rally too much. This is not a State Bank of India, but nonetheless, whatever little incremental up move we had from the lows, even that is getting sold into as we speak. Ambareesh Baliga is also with us. Ambareesh, we do talk about PSU banks, and I mean, you've been a contrarian. Right. But looking at, for instance, what PNB has done, their slippages numbers are still slightly higher. Yeah. They've provided less this time, so the loss is not that big. But there is still a long way to go with respect to provisioning. Absolutely. Your thoughts on the stock?
See, I think the expectation from the market as far as PNB is concerned, looking at the other PSU banks which have declared, I think the expectation had moved up, I think, a bit. But then we should remember that PNB was in the middle of the storm. I mean, it clearly cannot move in line with the other PSU banks, because I think there are, at least for the next 2 or 3 quarters, you'll have some provisioning as far as Nirav Modi case is concerned. And I think that's clearly said by the management. Looking at that and looking at what the management has said today, I think it can correct a bit more, but I do not see it really going below the levels which we had seen earlier. I mean, clearly, I don't see it going down below 74, 75. So I think closer to 80, 81. If one is looking at the next 1 year, I think that's a level to start picking up, because once you see the next two quarters results for PNB, possibly you'll have the interest coming back.
Okay. Mr. Tulsian, your thoughts on PNB, and why do you think the street is reacting the way it is now on the stock?
See, Anuj, if I really see the numbers, I honestly did not find them to be too bad. You know, maybe the slippages one can say that the 7,000 crore plus seem to be a bit on the higher side. But if you really ask me the reason for correction, it is just the victim of the overbought positions, because people have gone overboard and, you know, gung-ho after seeing the numbers of Canara Bank and Bank of Baroda numbers, and, you know, have started extrapolating that probably we will be seeing the same effect. Probably the replication of Canara and Bank of Baroda may be seen in SBI, but expecting that from PNB, you know, who has been in the ICU, you cannot expect them to come on its own legs just in 1 quarter. So I don't think that, even if you take the Nirav Modi case, which Ambareesh has just now narrated, I agree that, you know, that provisioning pain will be there, but that is already seen now reflecting into the share price. And if you want to be a fundamental investor, you know, probably the victim of the technicals, you know, may see the liquidation pressure can bring it down the share price to about 80. But if I am an investor and if the share price is seen, if I am a medium-term investor with a view of about 3 to 6 months, I won't mind buying at 83. But if you are a cautious investor, look to enter into the stock at 80 rupees, probably you are going to see the price of 85 coming in maybe next 1 month or so. So it is mainly the pressure of long liquidation. Market was seen in heavily overbought, and these 4 or 5 banks, you know, the larger ones, like as I said, Canara, Bank of Baroda, SBI, PNB, people do take, you know, extrapolate the same trend which they've seen in other 2 banks, you know, getting applied here also, which has gone little haywire, and that's why we are seeing this weakness.
Okay. And